Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. I was about to say good morning, good afternoon, good evening. How are you guys enjoying the morning sunrise here on the beach here? That's one of the things I really want, or I really miss a lot, guys. But good morning, everyone. How are we all doing today? This is Reganelite here. It is Friday, the 17th of October. We did it! We made it to the end of the week. Another weekend is upon us, guys. Well done, everyone. Seriously, pat yourself on the back. It's always appreciate, that you get through it, because for some people it's really, really hard. For others, it's not as much. But everyone's situation is different. But it's Friday, guys. So the weekend is here. So I hope you guys are looking forward to it. It is just hit 11 o'clock in the morning here at UK time. Going to be looking at today's daily quota. We're going to be looking at the daily weather. We have a variety of news we're going to be looking at from UK to world, America. There is one particular story I want to touch on right at the start that we'll go through after we do the usual bits. I think it's really, really important. I want to have a really discussion with you guys as well. Something that I've only I learned about this morning through Vosh's YouTube. I watched one of his videos this morning that which really got me thinking. There was other things taking place as well, like Zoran Mandari had his New York City debate. I have not seen any clips or anything like that. That's one of the things I definitely want to check out as well. And obviously we still have more of the fallout in the UK of the China spy case, which we'll touch upon as well. So good morning, Aston Keir, Christina, Ellie, Stephen Banker, Paula Thomas, Russell Cannon, Trip, and anybody else if I've missed anyone. Scott Hayes there, Janet there, and anybody else who's lurking in the chat. It's good to see you all. Hope you are all doing well. Right. Right, so here is today's daily quota for Friday. Here it is. Just for a reference here. So you can see that I don't make them up. These are actually what they say here. And remember, like I've said before, guys, www.littlepennythoughts.com if you want one for your own. So this one is written by Vicky. Walk your path one step at a time with courage, faith, and determination. Keep your head up and cast your dreams to the stars. So walk your path one step at a time with courage, faith, and determination. And keep your head up and cast your dreams to the stars. That's a lovely one. Very nice one for a Friday. I like that. I hope you guys like that one. I really like that one. Oh, tomorrow's one is an Irish blessing. But I can't share it with you because we don't do live streams on a weekend, guys. You'll have to follow me on social media if you want to know what that one is, guys. Or you can join our Discord community where I post them every morning there as well. Sorry for that. Peter, I see you there lurking. Hope you are doing well as well. So how is the weather sufficing for us today, guys? Let's have a quick look and see what the weather is saying. So this is today, 7 o'clock in the evening. What it looks like here is what the BBC app is predicting. Here, Madrid 20, Lisbon 24, Rome 18, Nice 20, Zagreb 10, Bern 9, Vienna 11, Prague 11, Paris 13, Brussels 12 there. Put the winds on there, close this. Warsaw 10 degrees there, Berlin 10. And a bit more further away, obviously, different temperatures there. Oslo there at Chile, 4 degrees. Reykjavik over in Iceland, Chile, 8 degrees there. Edinburgh, 10 degrees. Belfast, 11. Dublin, 12. Manchester, 12. Cardiff, 13. London, 14 is what is forecast. I've said this already, but the chances of rain is very unlikely. However, if you look closely, guys, for today, there are some tiny scatters of showers. And I say tiny scatters of showers. There you can see just little blobs of them. So it's possible you may get a few odd shower. Just the odd one, nothing too big. But majority of the day should be dry. So do I think you can get away with hanging out your washing today? Yes, I do think you can, just for reference. If we go into the next day here, we can go into overnight. Very chilly temperatures overnight there. 7, 8 degrees for up in Scotland, but 11, 12 and 10 degrees. It's still very cold. And as we move into the next day here, we can see on Saturday here, 10 o'clock in the morning to 1 o'clock there. Pretty much throughout the whole Saturday. Again, you're not going to get too much rain. Nothing really too much to worry about here. May get some winds in parts there. You can see it looks like, in some parts there's definitely wind picking up there in over in Ireland, respectfully there. But we can see as we go as we move a bit more forward here, we can see the storm brewing that we saw yesterday as well. That's coming up there on the Saturday. If we go straight, if we go overnight into Sunday there, we can see pretty much it hits pretty much the whole of Ireland overnight there. You can see 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock in the morning there. That rain's going to be casting a shadow over pretty much the rest of the UK there from pretty much from Sunday afternoon. So if you're planning any traveling on Sunday, just please be aware of this weather. Please be aware of this storm. Check before you travel as well. So you probably get lots of high winds as well as this rain. So please take necessary precautions as well. Temperatures on Sunday, 15, 14, 13 degrees respectively in parts. Dublin, Belfast, 16 and 13. Edinburgh, 12 degrees there we can see as well. If we just move over, obviously in the evening, it'll be very, very wet in most of the UK there. So just be aware of that. Overnight on Monday, that rain will still be around in parts of southeast, southern and southeast England is also going to experience that, as well as parts of Wales. There'll still be parts of Scotland will be hampering rain overnight as well, from the looks of it here. Into Monday afternoon, it looks like most of the rain will clear up in Scotland, but down in the Midlands and the south of England, pretty much quite a lot of parts will be still be hitting with forecast of rain. Wales looks like could be hitting with parts of that as well. As we move into Tuesday there, just a quick reference into Tuesday there. There may be some parts here and there. So again, probably best not to put the washing out next week, guys. So if you're going to be putting any out, today's the only day to do it. I recommend not putting it out next week, just for the next couple of days there from the looks of it. But that's what we're looking at the next couple of days over the weekend, guys. Is what the BBC weather app is saying there. Reg, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Anybody else who's lurking in the chats as well, both chats, because remember we're also live on twitch.tv/Reganelite1. If you do use Twitch TV, you can follow me on there as well, and also hit your bell notification icons on both platforms so you'll be notified of when I go live as well. So obviously I didn't go live with Twitch on last night with One Angry Pagan with our EcoFlake show because I have to use StreamYard, and StreamYard obviously can only use, if I wanted to use more than one feed, I would have to pay for it, and I don't fancy paying StreamYard my money, if I'm honest, guys. Right, so this, let me think, what's the best, hold on, I just want to try and find the best, yeah, this is probably the best one to use for this. So Vosh did a video on this last night, and I went and looked up this story. So this is one of the big, I think this is a bigger story, I think, than Zelensky meeting Trump today in America, if I'm honest, guys. And you'll see by the picture, for those who aren't aware of the story. So ICE have arrested a police officer in Chicago suburbs and accused him of being in the US illegally. So what's wrong with this picture, guys? What do you think's wrong with this picture? I bet you when you saw this when I said this headline, I bet your first impression was, oh, it must be a black person or an Asian person, someone from the Middle East. No, this is a white police officer that has been arrested by ICE. There's a couple of ways that this can go. This situation. Now, I'm generally curious to know how Chicago's police are going to respond to this. I'm generally curious to see how Republicans are going to take this as well. And I generally mean Republicans. And the reason why I say that is because there's a lot of Republicans who obviously do not want to undermine their own police forces in their own states with this, because it raises questions about their own police officers in their states as well. So that puts them in a precarious position. Now, as Vosh said in his video, and I do recommend checking out his video on this, one of the ways that the Nazis in Germany obviously helped take over the country was obviously getting the police on their side. This is not getting the police on their side, because one thing that the police do is, and I pretty much it's pretty much in every country, not just in the US but everywhere, is that they always look after each other's backs. They've always got each other's backs, sort of thing. This story could galvanize police against ICE, and you could potentially see standoffs between police officers and ICE officers potentially, which could be very significant, which could be the fuel that Donald Trump and his administration have been wanting to do, which is to start a civil war. We know that that's what Donald Trump wants to do. He wants the public to be antagonized into a point where that he can put the Insurrection Act, that he can declare that the country is at war. He wants to push that button. He wants to take supreme control of the country. And the best way to do that is to basically say that there's an insurrection, people are out to the Democrats are out to destroy us, that kind of line. And the police officers, like the police are betraying the American people. Like this is the thing. This is what I fear. This may become the spark that Donald Trump and his administration are looking for. Because up to this point, they've been able to mitigate it. They've been able to stop a lot of legal challenges. Obviously, been thrown away as well. But one of the we'll get to actually where he's from, what they're saying in a moment, because I will read the article for you guys. But what this generally lays down the battle lines for police. You know, are they going to stand by their officers, or are they going to follow the law? Are they going to follow the Trump administration? And don't get me wrong, police officers are not a big. Don't get me wrong. There's a lot of Americans out there who are not fans of police forces out there for lots of variety of reasons. But this could very well put the police on the right side of history, which could really set back the Trump administration and their plans. So I generally think this is very curious and interesting to see. Good morning, Julie Brown. Hope you are doing well. Paula Thomas as well, and anybody else lurking in the chats. Thank you, Alison Keir, for the £2 super chat. Just to started to reach goal. All hail the DPR. Yes, so all hail the Democrat Penguins Republic. If you guys can help reach today's super chat goal, it'd be greatly appreciated. Supports that doesn't just support me and my channel and the work that we do here. They also supports the Democratic Penguins Republic, my friend Pingu, who and protects them from the evil Trump administration and the tariffs that they impose on McDonald's Island. So, ICE agents arrested a police officer yesterday, Thursday morning, in the Chicago suburbs of Hanover Park, accusing him of being an unlawful immigrant from Montenegro. Montenegro, guys. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he doesn't look like he's from Montenegro, guys. But this is what they're saying. The Department of Homeland Security said the officer, Raji Botovic, overstayed a tourist visa that expired in 2015. According to the department, Bogovic was encountered during a targeted enforcement action, an ICE immigration-focused operation in Illinois. The Hanover Park Police Department shared a Facebook post in August announcing Bogovic's recent graduation from the Suburban Law Enforcement Academy, adding that he had started an intense 15 weeks of field training and evaluation to continue preparing to serve the Hanover Park community. CNN had reached out to Hanover police for comment and has attempted to contact him as well. Bogovic violated our nation's laws and was living illegally in the United States for 10 years. What kind of police department gives criminal illegal aliens badges and guns? It's a felony for aliens to even possess a firearm. A law enforcement officer who is actively breaking the law said, DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McCallaghan said in a statement on Thursday. You're basically here, and there's been a lot of statements from the Trump administration basically throwing fuel at the fire at the police officers, basically saying, how dare you guys appoint this person? How dare you appoint a legal alien, giving this person a firearm, giving them a badge? How dare you guys do that? There was Caroline Levitt was put on the spot on I think it was CNN or one other news outlet, when the story came out, and she just basically stood there smiling, basically saying, well, I'm not surprised by any of this, you know. So it's this is not good, undermining your own police force, even if it's not a red state. Rodney Craig, the mayor of Hanover Park, said on Thursday night that village officials will be monitoring his immigration proceedings. If he's allowed to stay in the U.S. and authorized to work, he will return to full duty status at the police department, Craig said at a Minneapolis meeting. Quote, I encourage all our residents to gather all available facts before forming their own opinions as to whether hiring the officer was appropriate. I can tell you with the utmost confidence it was appropriate, he said. First and foremost, the village and the police department conduct its own thorough due diligence as part of its hiring process. And this was the case with the hiring of all police officers. Craig said that before Bogovic was hired, the village confirmed that he was legally authorized work in the United States. Background checks performed by the FBI and Illinois Police State revealed no criminal history added. If Officer Brokovich did not hold federal work authorization, he would not have been hired. In September, ICE agents arrested the superintendent of Iowa's largest school district, accusing him of being in the country illegally. Since the early 2000s, the superintendent was later charged with separate firearm offences. This is a story that's still, even though this was still yesterday morning, this is a story that's still continuously developing. But it's generally one I wanted to share with you guys because I think it holds great significance. I've sent this story to Max as well, and one or two other YouTubers who may dive into this a lot more, but I wanted to share this at least with you guys on this. Surely he must have had a US equivalent of an NI number to get hired. This is the thing. Like, they're claiming he's here illegally. I generally don't think that, because there's no way he would have passed everything to become an officer if there was something wrong with the information that he had. What I think has happened here, and there have been lots of allegations of these stories of where the Trump administration and those within certain departments have been deleting personal and data information on people who aren't US citizens, and deleting vital information that holds their legal status. But what really strikes me about this story more than anything is that this is a white person. That's the thing that kind of strikes me more than anything. And I think, and I don't mean to be racist, guys. It's not that. I don't mean to be racist intentionally. You would have thought that a headline like this, your first thought would have been, oh, this person must be either black or from the middle or Asian or from the Middle East. That would have been your first thought, right? Generally would have been your first thought. The fact this is a white police officer, that raises a huge amount of alarm bells for a lot of people, a lot of police officers all around the country. And Fox News put the pictures up. You know, they put the pictures up when Caroline Levitt was talking about it. They put the picture up of the officer. That's really terrifying to a lot of people. Even if they don't like police and they don't like officers or whatever, that's quite scary, because obviously at the end of the day, police officers, they're supposed to be there to serve and protect. But we're talking about a police officer here. It's going to be very interesting to see the further developments of it. But I wanted to share that story with you guys at least there, because I think it's one it's a conversation that it's probably going to drag on for quite a bit, you guys. I am going to do a short video on that as well, because I want to get that out. I haven't recorded my short videos, but I want to get that out across social media as well, because I want people to know about it as well. So yeah, we'll be doing a short video, putting that out on here, TikTok, Threads, Instagram, Blue Sky. I want to get that out as much as I can to people, because I think it's a really, really important story. So let's go to The Guardian first here in the UK. We will be looking at other stories as well across outside the UK, not just the UK, not just UK itself here as well. He probably didn't back down, stood up to them, and they took him in. We don't know that we don't know the story. Like we don't know the full story of it. It's like I don't know enough about the story. Like I said, I would recommend checking out Vosh's video on it. I think it's worth checking it from his perspective, guys. Police commissioners called for a review of Tally Al-Tafi fans banned from UK match after police criticism. So what's this story about? I've been hearing about this football match of some sorts. Calls for review of Taliban fans banned from UK match after PM's criticism. West Midlands Police call for review of whether Malawi fans reasonable and promptable. Former crime commissioners call for a review of the ban of their fans attending the match. At the earliest possible. The match between Aston Villa and them on Thursday, the 6th of November. That was my request. Prohibit the attendance of away fans of the football match. The purpose of the request my view is to enable SAG and WMP to determine whether this is not decision recommendation is appropriate, necessary, justify consideration any and all suitable alternatives. Foster said Monster shows that the decision is appropriate, necessary, justified, reasonable, proportionate, and that an alternative solution is not possible. UEFA must ban all Israeli teams. Yep, they should. So of Aston Villa. So my understanding, because I did hear some of this from Dave McGuinness, because I was working in the background while listening. My understanding is that Aston Villa have banned the away fans from attending this match. Is that correct, chat? One of the safety aspects here. Where have other fans been banned from travelling to attend matches? I'm assuming that's the story pretty much here. West Midland Police call to reveal whether their fans reasonable and proportionate. I'm assuming that's the main story here. The fans rioted at last game that they had Israeli fans. Right. So basically they were out of order. Well, that's perfectly justified if they're causing harm and damage, then yes, they should be banned. Yeah. Personally, they shouldn't be personally, they shouldn't be allowed to play football at all because of what they've been doing because of what their country's been doing in Gaza. Like, they should be banned outright. UEFA really don't give a monkeys about people. They really, really don't. Right. Thank you for that, Alistair. All right. Other stories. Game-changing HIV prevention jab to be approved for England and Wales. That sounds really good. Long-acting injection offers to alternative to daily pills taken to protect the virus. Game-changing injection to prevent HIV is to be approved for use in England and Wales. The long-acting jab administered every 2 months will offer an alternative to the daily pills used to protect against the virus. This form of HIV prevention therapy is known as PrEP, pre-exposed. I cannot say that word. Don't ask me to say it, guys. It's typically taken by HIV negative people to reduce their risk of infection. In a draft guidance published today, the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence recommends Cardio-Gravitas, that's CABLA, for adults and young people at risk of HIV who are unable to take the oral PrEP. The injection is already available on the NHS in Scotland. Once again, Scotland ahead of the curve. Health Secretary Wes Streeting said the approval of the injection was game-changing. For vulnerable people who are unable to take other methods of HIV prevention, this represents hope, he said, making real progress on HIV with PrEP use up by 8% this year, and our ambition is to go even further. England will be the first country to end HIV transmission by 2030, and this breakthrough treatment is another powerful tool in our arsenal to help reach that crucial goal. The rollout is expected to begin about 3 months after NICE publishes its final guidance later this year. Good. Good. Don't have any problems with it as long as it's safe and it's doable, and Scotland have already approved it. Says everything that I need to know about that. Going to do a short video on the veteran card on that story there. Head of CPS faces cross-party pressure to explain China spy trial collapse. Minister plans high-level visits to China despite espionage trial outcry. Here's the thing. You can't ignore China. You've got to have a relationship with China, and I my concern is the possible is one of the whole thing about all of this for me, and I said this in David's chat, is China, like any other country, wants influence over others. That's all it is. It's about influence. They want influence. Russia wants influence. Every country would love influence over another. That's generally what it's about. We can't not have a relationship with China. But there are concerns about the whole thing as well. Cardiff is to become the first UK council to impose higher parking charges on larger vehicles. Premium charges aims to combat steep rise in SUVs and other large vehicles which are a danger to other road users. This is interesting, especially when your roads in parts of Wales are not that large. They're quite small and narrow. And obviously there's some sections of roads in other parts of, not just in Wales, but in rural England and in rural Ireland, for example, even in rural Scotland, where basically it's like there's no two-way street. It's literally one road, and it's a case of someone's got to go on the curb for someone else to get past. And I'm sure many drivers who are listening know exactly what that feels like, and it can be an absolute pain in the arse, especially when big fat ass vehicles who really shouldn't be in those places as well. So Cardiff Council will force drivers with larger vehicles to pay more for parking, becoming the first local authority in the UK to impose a parking premium to combat the dangers of larger vehicles. The council has voted on Thursday to approve a new parking plan for the cities, whereby owners of large vehicles will be charged more for parking permits because their cars take up more parking space and are a danger to other car road users. Why do you need a big fat ass car anyway, guys? The plan states that vehicles weighing more than 2,400 kilograms, fully laden, will be subject to a surcharge to encourage drivers to switch to smaller vehicles. This will later be reduced to 2,000 for non-electric vehicles. There's been a growing backlash against the sharp increase in large vehicles on roads, which cause more pollution and are more likely to cause fatalities if involved on collision. Research has shown that sports utility vehicles, SUVs, with combined features of a passenger car and an off-road vehicle have increased from 3% to 30% of existing cars in the past 2 decades. Oliver Lord, the UK's head of the campaign group Clean City, said other cities across the UK could learn from Cardiff leadership. He said Cardiff is showing real vision by standing up to SUVs, car spreading that is taking over the streets. It said it's only fair that those driving the biggest, heaviest and most polluted vehicles pay more for the extra space and danger they bring. The Welsh capital is following the footsteps of Paris, which last year tripled parking charges for SUV-style vehicles, leading to a 2/3 reduction in the number of SUVs using surface parking. The decision in Cardiff follows a public consultation in which 2/3, 66% of respondents, said they agree that larger vehicles should pay more for permits. Dan Deaf, the Cabinet Minister for Transport, said SUVs were much larger than your average car. They produce far more wear and tear on our roads. But fundamentally, if you hit a child while you're driving a heavy SUV, the chances that that child is dying are grossly inflated. This is true. We don't think it's unreasonable to ask people driving those kinds of vehicles to pay a little bit more for road tear and the extra space that they take up. We're not talking about SUV-shaped cars. We're talking about very heavy American-style vehicles. It's not about banning things, it's about generally encouraging behaviour change. Yeah, I agree. I think that's a very good idea, and I think it's something that should be followed suit by others as well. I think it's a very perfectly reasonable. I don't think I have anything that's dismissive to say anything of it. I just agree with pretty much everything it says really about them. Ferrari cuts the number of cars it sends to the UK after tax charges. Oh, the humanity! I'm sure people are going to be absolutely devastated. Banks need stricter controls to prevent romance frauds, says city regulator. The banks need stricter controls. Or maybe it's a person problem. Not sure if that's. Are you sure that's not more of a people problem there? Pregnant women in England are at growing risk of serious injuries in childbirth. That's not good. Global markets fall and gold hits record high amid jitters over US banks. I said it before and I said it again. If you did not invest in gold, you're buggered. I did not invest in gold, so I'm buggered, guys. I'm buggered too, so unfortunately. Marty Von Erich, good to see you there. This had better exempt people who are disabled and need larger cars for wheelchairs, etc. I'm not real sure the ramifications of that, but I do think there should be exemptions to it if there's not already. Disabled people, obviously, their protections. I'm pretty confident. I don't know the answer, but I'm pretty confident that they would not ignore the well-beings of people with disabilities and blue badges. I'm pretty sure they'll be exempt, if I'm honest. But they're talking about specifically people coming in with giant American vehicles. Not, I think it's intentionally targeting people who are looking to dominate the roads when they don't need to. Not people. I don't think the intention is to target people with disabilities in any way, shape, or form. But I don't know the details of the law because we've only just read it. But my hope is that those with blue badges, those with disabilities, will likely be exempt. Thank you, Paula Thomas, for becoming a member, YouTube member. Thank you so much for that. It's greatly appreciated. As a member, you get access to custom emojis, and also you get early access to additional content, which I will be producing today and be putting out over the weekend. So keep your eyes out for the early content that will be coming on this channel. So thank you so much for your support. It really does help support me and everybody else who has been a supporter as well. Sometimes we get overlooked. A Green Council in England banned driving in the city except for business taxes. Blue badge holders were ignored and looked over. That's problematic. Yeah, that's something the Greens need to get right. We need to make sure they're taking everybody into account there. That's a failure on the Green Council there. No, you need to think about when you bring in a policy, you need to, how can I put this? See, here's the thing, when you're in government, obviously you're going to be making policies and decisions that are obviously negative, right? That you're not always going to do policies that's going to make everyone happy. Now, obviously, like myself and pretty much everyone here in the chat, we're against obviously the changes, the cuts that they're going to make to disability benefits that the Labour government were going to impose and then roll back on. Now, we all agree that there needs to be changes to the entitlement system in England. I think we all can agree that there needs to be significant changes to it. But the thing that infuriates me more than anything is not the fact that they were cutting it. It wasn't the fact that it wasn't in their manifesto. It was the fact that they didn't even consult the very people that they were making the changes that it was going to affect. And this is exactly, Mutty, the same concept here, is that if you're going to be making a significant change, something that affects a group of people, you need to consult those people before making any kind of changes, even if it's something that they're going to disagree with, because that is communication. That shows that you are listening to people, even if you don't always have agreements on the decisions that you make. And I think that is one massive flaw that I have with this Labour government when they tried to make that decision, and people can argue that there may be some justifiability for what they were trying to do, but there's no justifiability when you're not even consulting the very people that you're going to be affected. So it's one thing for a government to make policy changes, but it's another when you don't even consult the very people that it's deeply affecting, and that is completely undemocratic in any way, shape or form, even if you have disagreements. And I think that for me is the biggest ire of anger that I have when it came to that decision by the Labour government. Let's have a look at what Al Jazeera are saying, guys. So, US carries out new drug boat strikes on the Caribbean as Admiral resigns. Yeah, this is quite interesting. The Admiral who launched one of the strikes in the Caribbean has resigned here. So the latest strikes and resignation comes the day after US President Trump confirmed that he had authorized CIA operations in Venezuela and that he was modeling a land attack here. Yeah, so reportedly carried out a strike on another drug smuggling vessel as the Admiral overseeing the Trump administration controversial campaign in the Caribbean announced his shock departure. So a US official conspicuously on condition confirmed the strike on Thursday. The official said what appeared to be first said there were also survivors among the crew. The official did not offer additional details about the incident, which have not been previously reported. The Pentagon and US President Donald Trump are yet to publicly confirm the attack. So Trump will be asked about this today, speaking to Zelensky, so he'll probably confirm it there. I'll come to that super chat in a moment, Paula. Give me a moment. Prior to the latest strike, the US had carried out 5 attacks on alleged drug smuggling vessels in the Caribbean since early September, killing at least 27 people. Strikes have drawn the condemnation of legal experts, right groups, and Democratic lawmakers who criticise their extrajudicial nature and question whether they adhere to US and international laws. They don't, because they have not provided any evidence. The Trump administration have not provided concrete evidence that these boats that they have targeted and they have killed these people are definitely drug smugglers. They have just come out and made statements saying that these are drug smugglers. This is no different than Israel launching attacks, or when they were launching attacks on schools and hospitals buildings within Gaza City, Gaza territory, and basically claiming that these were Hamas outposts with no evidence whatsoever. This is the exact same concept. Yeah, you're striking these boats. Yeah, and you're saying that these are they're supplying and smuggling drugs into the US, is what they're claiming, right? Where is your evidence for it? It's possible. Yeah, you could be saying the truth, but we don't know that. And you're just expecting us just to take your word for it, when your administration has already lied on a number of occasions to the people, to its own people, and you expect us to believe you. And by the way, it doesn't actually stop the drug smuggling anyway, because there are other methods of them getting into the US. It's not going to stop it. It just means they're going to use a different mode, different way of getting into the US. So, yeah, I think that point has been made there. Paula, thank you for the £5 super chat. Just to be clear, given Modib Tel Aviv have a recent history, if a mid-90s English level of football relative violence. Thank you for that, Paula. I was not aware of that there. I didn't think of Israeli football fans to be as problematic as some English fans, but if that is the case, thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Martin Artle says this is a mistake to assume Labour want to listen. It is. We don't know what. Well, I will say this, like, I'm not a Labour supporter, as many of you know, but Labour are far better at listening than the Conservatives have been, you know. And I will say that anybody who said that they would rather have the Conservatives than Labour, honestly, have had their heads in the sand for the last 15 years. Do they deserve to be kicked out of government for what Labour have been doing so far? Absolutely, because they've not done enough. They've not addressed the cost of living. Inequality is the word that rings to mind more than anything, and they're more concerned about trying to reform Russia rather than actually doing what's necessary for the people. I understand that fixing the nation and fixing problems takes time. I totally understand that position. You know, things take time to come to fruition. But I want to see positives from Labour, and I'm seeing more negatives than positives from this government. And that's the problem. Edward Teach would be rolling in his grave, says Matty as well there. And thank you again, Paula, for the £5 super chat. I appreciate your support. 5 key takeaways from the New York Mail debate. Let's have a quick look at how it went. You know, Mandavi was pretty much like, you know, he's a shoehorn at the moment. He's a shoehorn to win it. But let's have a look at see what some of the key debates. I'm not going to read the whole thing. I just want to. Can you just give me the pointers rather than a long piece? I don't really want to read the whole piece here. Israel-Palestine takes center stage for it. Mandawi was asked about his comments on Fox News on Wednesday, where he did not take a clear position on calls for Hamas to disarm. Of course, I believe they should lay down their arms. Mandawi said, I'm proud to be one of the first elected officials in the state who called for a ceasefire. And calling for a ceasefire means all parties have to cease fire and put down their weapons. Kramer replied in the section of the debate in the maintaining peace in the Middle East. That is the code, meaning that Israel does not have a right to exist just as a Jewish state. Okay. Mandawi shot back, highlighting Cuomo's ties to Netanyahu, a fugitive from international justice. The ICC issued a rush warrant for him last year. Quote, the occupation is a reference to the international law and a violation of it, which Mr. Cuomo has no regard for since he signed up onto Benjamin Netanyahu's legal defense team during the course of the genocide, Mandawi said. Very good. What else is this? Cuomo ties with a Muslim community questioned. Cuomo, separate. Cuomo resigned from 2020 after multiple women accused him of sexual harassment, replied that he views Mandawi as totally separate from the Muslim community. I don't think in any way Assembly is a representation of the Muslim community, which is the vital community for New York City, Cuomo said, adding that he was very fond of Muslims. I don't think he's playing his own politics. As governor continued, many of these positions don't even follow the Muslim faith. He retorted that it took being beaten by a Muslim candidate in the primaries for Cuomo to visit a mosque. Cuomo visited New York City mosque for the first time during his campaign last month. First time! What Muslims want in the cities, every community wants to deserve. Yeah, I need to watch. Like, this is too long of a piece. I wanted kind of a short bullet points, but he hasn't got that there. I take it that Cuomo didn't really pull that many punches against him. Is what my assumption is. Who is John Bolton? Or what he's being indicted for? John Bolton is a scumbag because he worked for Donald Trump in his first administration. Although John Bolton saw the light, he's still somebody who should not be trusted. He put out a book basically saying the same things that everyone else has been saying about Donald Trump as well. I don't really want to give too much of time to his indictment, but obviously we'll see how that goes. This is a big story in Madagascar here. The military leader sworn in as Madagascar's new president. Mass demonstrations in recent weeks over power and water shortages have killed more than 20 people. So Madagascar sworn in as an army colonel as president just days after the military takeover and the popular rebellion that sent the president fleeing into exile. The African Islands Nation High Constitutional Court on Friday today formalised the appointment of Colonel Michael, I'm not saying that's his second name, in a ceremony crowding a tremendous week. Repeats for the dissension times on Friday with the military stepping in. Was attended by military officers, politicians, representatives of the Gen Z Youth movement, several foreign delegations, including the US, European So foreign delegations were also there as well. Work hard, drive forces. Thank you. Committed to breaking with the past, he says. Main mission is thoroughly reform the country's administrative, social, economic, and political system and governance, he added. He said that the military had taken power to dissolve all institutions except the lower house of parliament or National Assembly. He's carefully picked his attire, a civilian suit rather than his military uniform, and a location for the ceremony. Well, yeah, if you're going to be leader, wearing a military uniform sends the wrong message as well. But I think it's important to bring across the impression. The 51-year-old commander of CAPSAP has pledged elections in 18 to 24 months and told local media that consultations were underway to appoint a consensus prime minister. Amid international criticism, including the United States, he denied that he had initiated a coup, pointing to the constitutional court's backing of his new role. What's the public saying? 8% of its roughly 32 million people living in poverty, according to the World Bank benchmark. Remember the president that has been ousted. He was in power for more than 15 years, guys. You know, and you've got 80% of its 32 million people living in poverty. What's he done? What's he done for the people? I think that's a fair argument to make. Although I don't know a lot about Madagascar and its policies, right? When you've had a world leader who's been in power for more than 15 years and you've got 80% of your 32 million people living in poverty, what does that say about the leader? Especially one who's been in power for that long, guys. African Union Regional Blog said they would send in fact-finding missions to the island, call for constitutional democracy to be upheld. Yeah. I mean, the fear is, of course, my understanding is that the public wanted this, wanted him gone, the president ousted anyway, the former president ousted, which he has been. But this is obviously not the democratically way to do it. And I agree it's not the democratically the right way to do it. However, I do feel like that when you've had the same president in power for more than 15 years and your country is not moving in any kind of direction, this kind of felt inevitable. I mean, I generally hope, I really do mean this, I hope it's a turnaround for them, but I'm not holding my breath either, because yeah, they've been plagued by problems, as people in previous, and not just in this chat but in previous chats have told me, as those who have paid more attention to it. What is this? Peru's new president refuses to resign after Gen Z protests leave one dead. State of emergency to be declared in the capital as protests have led to last week's of ousting former president intensify. What's this about? Peru's new president is refusing to resign amid a Gen Z anti-government protest inflamed by the death of the popular rapper as crime grips the nation. The government said late on Thursday that a state of emergency would be declared in the capital. The prosecutor's office announced it was investigating the previous day's killing of a 13-year-old protester and hip-hop singer Eduardo in a mass demonstration. Police chief said that Luis Mangalis, a member of the force, was believed to have fired the bullet and has subsequently been detained and dismissed from his job. Arenda added that Matos was being treated at hospital after being physically assaulted. Wim was the first person to die in the protest, which began a month ago, which calls for better pensions and wages for young people, and later became a lightning rod for broader frustrations with crime and corruption, culminating in the ousting of the former president, Diabarati, last week. Just last week, they ousted the last president, and already they're calling for the new one to resign. On Wednesday, thousands massed around the country, with hundreds clashing with police outside Congress. They called on the recently appointed Joe, the seventh president in less than a decade, to resign. Responsibility to maintain stability of the country. Express regret over Rowan's death from the post. Yeah, so be objectively investigated. He blamed the violence on disqualifying and infiltrated the peaceful demonstration and so chaos. The full force of law will be on them, who wrote. Peru's not a country I know too much about, guys, but another country that I'm not about, but it's sad to hear stories like that. But people have been saying worldwide, a lot of the Gen Z generations in many, many nations are not being looked after well enough here. Kenya holds state funeral for opposition leader after the morning chaos. Trump threatens to kill Hamas over Gaza gang clash. He said it must disarm. That's right, guys. Donald Trump is literally going to go into Gaza and kill Hamas all by himself. Yeah, somehow I don't think he's going to do that. Live updates here. What's the latest here? Let's have a quick look here. Wow, have we spent too much time on this? We have. Hamas released messages mourning Yemeni's general killed by Israel. BBC Gaza documentary broke broadcasting rules, says UK regulator. Oh, God. Israel soldiers raid the home of a free prisoner in occupied West Bank. Of course, they were going to do more on there. About 560 tons of food enter Gaza daily since ceasefire, but more is needed. World Food Programme said it's brought in about 560 tons of food per day on average into Gaza since ceasefire began. The amount is still below what is needed. It's a good start. It's a good start, but yeah, they need to get more in there. They need to get more in. Let's switch gears because we've got quite a lot to keep going through. Thank you again, Alaston, for the £2 super chat. Really appreciate it. Your support there of the penguin emoji. By the way, if you're a YouTube member, you can use the Pingu emoji as well. Did you guys know that? Yeah, if you're a YouTube member, you get to have the Pingu emoji, which we might see a bit later on. Might see Pingu before we go as well, guys. Associated Press here. Trump's National Security Advisor Bolton charged with storing and sharing classified information there. Photos showing sumo wrestling brings 1,500 years of tradition to London's Albert Hall. Yeah, I saw. I've seen some pictures and some video. I saw BBC News talking about it as well. Very cool to have it at London Royal Albert Hall sumo wrestling. Very awesome. I'm not into sumo wrestling at all personally, but very cool to always see different kinds of sports being showcased in London. Very awesome. Democrats say Trump needs to be involved in shutdown talks. He's shown little interest in doing so. Well, because Donald Trump wants a shutdown. We know that. US commander was retiring. That's the Venezuelan one we looked at already. Ahead of Zelensky's meeting, Trump shows no signs he might not be ready to send Kiev Tomahawk missiles. So one of the tactics that Donald Trump has seen, one tactic I've seen, which is going to be, I'm going to cover it in a short video, is that what Donald Trump wants to do is he wants every single European nation to stop supplying or stop taking in any kind of energy from Russia. We still have European nations who are still taking them in. Obviously, Belarus and Hungary, obviously problematic as well. Serbia, another one, but there are still one or two nations who are still taking energy in from Russia. Who obviously, and Donald Trump says one of the ideas that he wants to do, obviously, as he applies pressure on India, who take in a lot of Russian oil as well, is that he wants them to stop taking any kind of energy from Putin. He wants to try and choke him out rather than sending missiles. That's the impression that I've got from one or two articles and stories that I've read online, guys. Orban celebrates Hungary as the only place in Europe where a Trump-Putin meeting can be held. Breaking news, Viktor Orban doesn't realise that Trump and Vladimir Putin had a meeting in Alaska. Only place in Europe. Is Hungary the only place? Is Hungary the only place where they could have that meeting? Yeah. I think Orban's right there. I think Orban seems to be. Russian barricade causes blackout in Ukraine as Zelensky seeks Trump's help. Trump warns Hamas will have no choice but to go in and kill them if bloodshed persists in Gaza. Any other stories we haven't read already? Billionaire Illinois Governor Pritzker wins black jackpot in $1 million in Las Vegas. Okay. US senator claims Christian mass murder is occurring in Nigeria. Data disagrees. Okay. After winning Trump's 20 billion, President Mendy must win votes in as Argentina industry wheels. Yeah, he wants to rig the game in Argentina for Mendy's favour here. Journalists turning access badges exit Pentagon rather than agree to new reporting ruling. Yeah, they're trying to make it more difficult, Pentagon there. Alston, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Kenny seems to use emojis in super chat. Well, I can see the thank you for the £2 super chat. I can see the emojis you're using. For once, I think Trump is right, says Paul Thomas. Yeah, I agree with him. That's one way of suffering Russia. But obviously, Trump imposing tariffs and trying to target India is definitely a good one as well, because India obviously taking oil there. Those countries there are obviously as well. So also, Orban is talking north since what's wrong with Geneva. Reg says the US military might have concerns about allowing these missiles to be used, as it will give Russia an opportunity to develop countermeasures. Possible as well, yeah. It's possible as well. That's some of the stories there from the Associated Press. Let's have a look at. Man, I've not gone through many at all here. Oh, wait 1 second. I'm not using the right feed. There we go. to avoid adverts. Independent here. Starmart says it's wrong to block Magic Tel Aviv fans from Villa game. Well, it's not up to you. It's up to the football club. So, respectfully, who are you to tell football clubs what they can and cannot do with their grounds? Is my response to Keir Starmer there. But this is him trying to sugarcoat Israel here. That's what it sounds like more to me. Digital ID not a silver bullet to tackle illegal migration, minister says. It's not going to do anything about illegal migration. We've already discussed it. We've discussed it again. I'm not discussing it anymore, guys. Boris Johnson said he uses ChatGPT while writing books. I love it, he says. I sometimes use Grok. I don't use Grok as much as other people, but like if I really, really need an answer to something, I will ask Grok. And one thing I do like about it is that at the bottom, when it gives me the answer, it shows me all the sources that it uses as well, which I do think that's helpful as well. Bombshell evidence exposes new Dow's China spy allegations. Greens neck and neck with Labour. New poll shows. Really? It's too early to say that, isn't it? Where's this polling from? A new poll conducted by Find Out Now. No, I've never heard of them. Party on 32 points, 2 points. Yeah, this seems a bit too far-fetched. That's far too far-fetched right now to say that. No. It's a too far-fetched to say that they're neck and neck with Labour. Don't get me wrong. Like I'm push. I want the Greens to succeed, guys, but we need to be realistic here. Fancy economics readers weigh in on stamp duty reform. The UK delays a deadline for decision on China embassy spy as the row grows. Just say no. They don't need a bigger building. Why do you try to need a bigger building? Like answers on a postcard. Why do they need a bigger embassy building? What's wrong with the one? Generally, someone tell me what's wrong with the building that they have. MI5 looking at potential risk from out of control AI. Yep, makes sense. They should be looking at potential risks there. That makes logical sense. Just a reminder, we finish at 12 o'clock for those who are new here. We don't go far past 12 o'clock because everybody wants to have their lunch at that time, including me. I actually have to go out and get my lunch. This is the front of UK, just for reference. Lawrence Fox granted a retrial in libel case over racist claims on X. Why has he been granted a retrial? Police name first shoplifters to wear electronic gag under a new scheme. UK faces wet weekend as weather issue for Northern Ireland. Yep, we looked at that already. Bank misses chance to prevent romantic fraud as victims lose 72,000. 72,000! A victim loses 72k! What did you do? Oh my god. Oh. Jesus. What's this story? Moments a phone spanner targeting commuters in London is confronted by... This is the moment a man who uses MSF Blard to span commuters on the London Underground with fraudulent text messages is confronted by police. Police were alerted after a member of the public revealed a spam text message while travelling on the London Victoria. The text claimed to be Paula Mail, inviting the reader to click on the link above to details in order to receive a package. Users who did so would be asked to enter their personal details. The member of the public was familiar with SMM blasters and grew suspicious of Conjong when he noticed him loitering on the platform with large suitcases. Police were alerted and confronted him, who was arrested at the scene. If you get a text message from someone saying you've been offered a free package, the first thing you should be saying is you should be deleting that. I think it's absolutely insane anybody buys into that. You really need to apply common sense there. But yeah, glad he got arrested. You know, there's always people trying to take advantage of others there. Wow, we only got 7 minutes. Yeah, looks like it. And oh no, the Super Chat goal's running out of time already. How's that happened? Oh, I started it too early. That's why. Damn it. Let's have a look at African news here. Foreign dignitaries arrive in Nairobi for Rilia state funeral. Let's just have a look here. Just looking at the feed on the right hand side, I know it's a bit tight for you guys to see that, some of the lettering there. Tensions rise in Israel, Hamas trade blame over ceasefire violations. Egypt implements a second fuel price hike in 2023 to curb subsidies. Trump to meet Putin in Budapest to discuss ending Ukraine war. As far as I'm aware, I've not been aware of what the date of that is. US condemned military coups in Madagascar. Yeah, we talked about that already. Russia and Monaco pledged to deepen cooperation during foreign ministers' meeting. IMF warns of rising debt risk in sub-Saharan Africa there as well. Over over half of Gaza hospitals destroyed in 2 years of war, the WHO says there. Well, of course, I don't think anyone's surprised by that story as well. Oh, thank you, Alison Keir. I just saw that. Only just saw that super chat there. Gold Chief, thank you so much for my friend. Thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. Of course, you can still leave other super chats yourself if you guys want to support myself and the work that we do, that myself and the gang behind me do. Pingu wants to say thank you guys very, very much. As you say, he is, if you are a YouTube member, you get to use emojis of Pingu, who is the foreign minister for the Democratic Penguins Republic, and also is a member of the Briggs as well, which is consisting of Russia and other nations as well there. So thank you for that. I really appreciate that, Alison, for your support. Got about 5 minutes left, so let's run through some of these other stories, see if there's any others. Not going to open them up. We'll just have a look at some of the headlines. There's the Kiev Independent here. Let's refresh it, just see if there's anything new comes up. What to expect from Zelensky-Trump meeting as Ukraine hopes for tomahawks. Putin got scared. Trump needs to be wary of Russia's delaying tactics, Kiev lawmaker experts warn. Orban calls with Putin ahead of Trump summit in Budapest. Belarus seeks to engage EU countries to break isolation, rhetoric has reporting. If they want to engage with EU countries, they should break away from Russia, but that's not going to happen. Russia shoots down its own fighter jet during Ukraine drone attack in Crimea, they're claiming. That's not good for Russia. Russia, Ukraine not ready for peace deal. Vance said ahead of Zelensky-Trump meeting. Yeah, there's still the problem is that Russia and Putin are just not prepared to move right now. Yeah, Trump met the Syria president, attempting to retain foothold in the Middle East there. Yeah, he wants more influence in the Middle East there. India assures White House it will stop buying Russian oil. Trump says there will be no oil. Indian Prime Minister not buying oil from Russia. It started, you can't do it immediately. No more. Don't go buying any more oil. Now promise me you're not going to be buying any more oil from Russia and Putin. Okay, they said they're not going to buy them, so we're all good. He actually believes them. I'll believe it. I'll believe it when the experts say it's not happening anymore. So Zelensky arrives in Washington ahead of talks with Trump. Trump hesitant to provide Tomahawk missiles to Ukraine following call with Putin. Yep. That's why as well. Yeah, interesting. And any other stories there on the side? Not really there, so we'll leave that there. Let me close those articles. Let's go back to the UK. See what they're saying here. I'm just going to give it a quick refresh. See one there. No, Steam Banker. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it. Friday already? Yeah, I know. Friday already. UK emissions would rise under Tory energy plan. Yep, it would. MI5 chief frustrated over collapse of China spy case. Confused about the China spiral. Businesses on China's mega embassy site delayed again. Like I've said it already. I'm not going to repeat myself. Reform Russia-led council refuses fracking ban call. So Reform Russia don't want to ban fracking, refusing to call on the government to permanently ban fracking. It comes after they were asked to back a ban in a motion to put forward the Labour group leader in that council meeting. He said recent comments by Reform Russia's deputy leader Richard Tice about lifting bans on controversial processes have caused deep concern among Lancashire residents. Fracking was banned in 2019. Lancashire's UK-led administration Lancashire's Reform Russia-led administration insists it's being pragmatic in case the situation changes around fracking and has previously ruled out a return to drilling. Yeah. At a meeting full of the full councils on Wednesday, councillors voted for an amendment motion for Reform Russia's county councillor Joel Tello, which removed the word fracking and replaced it with extracting shale gas. The amendment motion also calls for the continuation of the momentum while also... Yeah, this is them trying to keep it in. We do not want fracking in Lancashire. Why does Reform Russia want to see the return of fracking? Yeah. It doesn't benefit the people there in any way, shape or form. That's not helpful at all. Thatcher, no, don't care about her. Nomination papers discovered in garage. Who gives a hoot? Any other stories here on the front here? Family of British girl missing for 59 years gives ultimatum to person of interest. British gas owner among firms fined for underpaying staff. Housing design to combat loneliness wins top agricultural awards. Interesting. Major UK rare earths redefined scrapped in favour of US. Calls to suspend a GP who harassed women's rape by his son. That's in Scotland there, apparently. Any other stories here? No. I know we've got about a minute left, but let's have a quick look. Which one should we do? Let's have a quick look at NBC News. Just have a quick look at them before we go, guys. Anything here that we haven't already seen? Peru's president, Israel Hamas, violations between Hamas and gangs, flares in the Gaza, US strikes on cartel boats we've seen already. UK authorities seek to reverse ban Israeli teens' flags. Yeah, we saw that story. Russia barrage causes blackouts in Ukraine. Susan Starmer, first woman to host a national news program, dies at age 87. Rest in peace. Cute dog with a party hat on. I like that. That was definitely worth switching over just for that. Zalman Dami, Andrew Cuomo clash in fierce NYC male debate. And shutdown fuels anger and uncertainty far from Washington. Anything else? Ali Frenchy, legendary Kiss guitarist, dies at the age of 79. Very fell in his studio in September and recently cancelled all tour dates. May rest in peace. Any other stories here? Don't look like it, guys. Multiple concussions. Oh, yes, I heard about this. I heard about this story. Multiple GOP offices received flags with optical illusional swatch stickers earlier this year, Republicans have said. Have they got pictures of them? No, they don't have the pictures. Damn it. I think Vosh had a story on it where they showed pictures of it. Damn it. Didn't put the pictures up. Oh, god damn it. Oh, well. That's fine. Yeah, do check out Vosh's YouTube channel. Right, so quickly run down before we guys go. So, live right now will be Phil Morehouse on his channel, A Different Bites. If you guys want to check out his content, you feel free to do so. He'll be going live right now. At 1 o'clock, in about an hour's time, Phil Morehouse and Graham Hughes on Politics Social will be hosting The Agenda. At 5 o'clock today, Daily Blase will have his Friday Frolics. If you can join him for that, feel free to do so. I do encourage you guys to do check it out as well. And then at around 7 o'clock, 7:30, something like that, A. Thompson will be going live on his YouTube channel as well. At 8:30, Max Robertsby will be going live with his channel as well. And then at 9:30, for a few hours, Graham Hughes will have like a Friday a live stream there as well. So there's a lot of live streams taking place today, but thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for all your comments. Thank you, Alston Keir, for your super chats as well today. Super chats as well as who gave the before I go mad. Thank you, Paula, for the £5 super chat as well. And also, thank you, Paula, for becoming a YouTube member as well. Greatly appreciate it. I will be back live on Monday at 11 a.m. for another Good Morning show if you want to join me on Monday. But there'll be no more live streams between now and then. But I will be posting some short videos as well. Apologies for not bringing up a funny video today. I was going to record them yesterday and I ran out of time. But I do plan at some point in the next couple of days to record some funny videos to backlog them for Friday mornings for you guys. But there will be a Speaking My Mind episode dropping tomorrow, as well as a good news story dropping on Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. But there will be short videos as well. So you can check out all that content. Feel free to do so. Also check out Rumble and Patreon as well. Links for them in the description of exclusive content on those platforms as well. But just before I head out, just one last thing. If you haven't already, please hit that like button, share this across social media, consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member like Paula has. And you can also check out Rumble and Patreon, which I already said. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.